What's going on, everybody? Good late afternoon or early evening for some of you. Welcome back. We've got more offensive linemen to look at. This video is going to be all about guys on the interior, left guard, center, right guard. And again, it's a really good crop. I was really impressed with a lot of the things that I saw. So we're going to have a good amount to talk about. And it's pretty much all positive. I'm not really going to get too much into the guys who disappointed me a little bit today. Like, JPJ to me looks top heavy, so I was a little bit down on him based on what I saw today. I'm not going to get too down on him because the tape is so good, but he did look top heavy. And I thought Van Pran stumbled a little bit on his drills, but I don't think either guy necessarily looked bad. It just was a little bit awkward, maybe. But I'm going to focus in on some guys who I thought did good things for their stock, and there were a lot. So let's start with probably the biggest freak of the day and maybe the most exciting physical specimen of the day, and somebody that you could probably still get in a later round, Tanner Bortolini of Wisconsin. And this guy definitely exceeded expectations, running a 4.9440 with a 1.69 10-yard split. So that alone is like, wait a minute here. This guy's an interior offensive lineman. Is this guy the next Jason Kelce? Is this guy going to be able to do the Jason Kelce stuff? Obviously, he's not that good, but remember, Jason Kelce was not a high draft pick at all. So it's not like Kelce was some super blue chipper that panned out. No, he came out of nowhere to become one of the best centers of his era. 303 pounds, so he is a little undersized. He's got short arms, so he is going to be a center in this league, I assume. But, I mean, even the jumps were pretty good from Bortolini, right? Should be an excellent zone scheme center. Moved really well in the drills. Looked very natural, shuffling around. 32.5-inch vert, 9-foot 4-inch broad. The dude killed it. Dude is an elite center athlete, and I imagine he's definitely going to get drafted now, and he might bump up to like the 5th or 4th round. The production isn't really there, but it's not a very good center draft anyway. So I could see this guy really rocket up some draft boards to where I don't think it's going to be like day 2 or anything, but I do think he'll probably end up in the middle of day 3. So Bortolini was one of the big winners today for sure. Another guy who I thought was a winner today was one of my favorite right guard prospects, Christian Haynes. So Christian Haynes of Connecticut. It's important to note that I do see this guy probably ending up at right guard in the NFL, and I think that after today, you have to conclude he would be a great fit for right guard in a zone scheme that requires a lot of movement from interior offensive linemen. 5.0340, 1.75 10-yard split. It's not stellar in a vacuum, but it's stellar for a right guard in a zone-based scheme. Like, those guys typically don't move. 33-inch vert is pretty good. 8-foot 6-inch broad jump is not so great, but I think overall the explosiveness is workable. He's 6'3", which means he'll win leverage battles. He's got 33.5-inch arms, which is longer than the average interior offensive lineman. That's almost tackle length, but I don't see this guy being able to move to tackle necessarily. I do view him as a right guard on the interior at his best. So I do think that Christian Haynes helped himself today. Really athletic, and he was also very productive in the NFL. So it's not like you're losing anything there in terms of what he was able to actually put on tape as a member of the Connecticut Huskies. So nice little athlete here. If you get him as a right guard, I think you're going to be really happy about that. Next guy who I thought did good things for him, and I kind of expected this guy to make some ground up on the draft boards by the end of the combine because he was like way down on the aggregate big boards, and I don't understand why. Cooper Bebe. To me, Cooper Bebe is not far behind the top guys in this draft at the position of interior offensive lineman, and he really was falling behind hard on the big board. So Cooper Bebe got good size for an interior lineman, 6'3", 322 pounds. He's also clearly going to be a guard at the NFL level. 31.5-inch arms are not going to cut it at tackle typically. So there's no way he ends up playing on the outside, in my opinion, the way he played in college. He did play at tackle in college, but not going to be able to get away with that in the NFL. So he's going to move to guard, and I think he'll be a very good guard. At 322 pounds, 5.0340 is really good. 1.75 10-yard split is really good. Not very explosive, 27.5-inch vert, 9-foot 1-inch broad, but I thought his drills looked great. He moved very fluidly, very well, looked very, very natural moving in space. I think Cooper Bebe is going to move up to at least the second round when all is said and done. Right now, he's in like the third on the aggregate. I think it's time for that to change. People just need to start looking at him as a guard. As a tackle, yeah, I wouldn't want that guy as a tackle in the NFL. But once you start to look at him as a left guard prospect, which is what I think he is, you will see that he is very, very good, very, very clean. And honestly, Graham Barton, who didn't test today, I don't think there's a big difference between Bebe and Barton as prospects. All right, so this next guy, kind of similar to Christian Haynes to me, and he has the same first name, Christian Mahogany. I think these guys, this is another right guard who would fit in really well in a zone scheme where the guards need to move, where you need to be able to block in space, where you need to be able to get out in front of screens. 6'3", 314 pounds, seems a little undersized for a right guard, but not in the right scheme. Decent arm length, not quite tackle level, but pretty good. Was a really good athlete for his for what he's going to be in the NFL, I think. 5'1", 440, 174 10-yard split. In a vacuum, it's not great, but if you're playing on the interior at right guard, it'll do. It'll definitely do. Those guys are usually the guys who take on the 1-techs and 0-techs. So I think that's going to be good enough. 32.5-inch vert is good for a right guard. 9' 1 inch broad is okay as well. So this guy's a nice athlete. Got an opportunity to develop into a quality starter at the least leveraged position on the interior offensive line. I think once you look at these guys the right way, I think that's the key here. It's important to look at these guys through the proper lens. A lot of these guys who play tackle in college are going to move to the interior in the NFL, and you have to be willing to look at them through that lens. If you think they're getting beat on the outside a lot, but you think they project well to guard, then that's probably the answer. Okay. This fifth guy is somebody who kind of came out of nowhere for me because he was not really on my radar before today. But after today, I'm looking at Kingsley Suamataia, and I'm wondering. Now, I don't know if this guy's going to play on the inside or the outside in the NFL. My instincts are that he could do both pretty well. 6'5", so he's not too tall to play inside, but he is tall enough to play tackle, of course. 326 pounds, a little bit heavy, but he ran a 5'0", 440 and a 174 10-yard split. That's really nice. That's really good. That's going to cut it. You can do tackle stuff at 5'04 with a 174 10-yard split, even in a zone scheme. So he moves really well for a guy his size. And his arm length is definitely going to cut it for tackle as well. 34.25 inches. That's tackle material. So I don't know where this guy ends up. I think this is another guy I would kind of like to slide inside because of his size and his strength. But I was impressed, man. The movement skills were there. I thought he looked good in the drills. I thought he looked like he belonged at tackle in the NFL. 28-inch vert, 9'2" broad, a 9'2" broad. So the explosiveness isn't necessarily there the way you want it to, but it's not terrible. And I do wonder if that explosiveness means he'll make a better guard than he is than he would at tackle. I'm wondering about that. So could go either way here, but either way, I like him. I think he's going to be a good NFL player at some position. Last guy is a little bit of a sleeper, and there are some bumps you got to work through here. There are some things you're going to have to work through here with Jacob Monk, and some of the drills were rough, but some of them were good too. So it was a mixed bag from the drills, but as a physical specimen at center, this guy's interesting. 6'3", 308 pounds, so pretty decent size, totally workable size, especially in a zone scheme. 5'09", 40-yard dash, so he was quick, fast. 166 10-yard split, quick. The explosiveness was effective enough. 29.5-inch vert is just okay, but a 9-foot broad is a little bit better than that. So we're talking about a really nice athlete in Jacob Monk here. You've got a lot to work on. Like I said, the drills were rough. He didn't move great in space. There was a little bit of a awkwardness to his game, a little bit of awkwardness to the way he was moving, shuffling around. So it's definitely not perfect, but if you're looking to, let's say you want to bet the farm on Oluwatimi being a good starting center for you, then maybe you say, okay, Jacob Monk is going to be my backup. That might work. And those are the guys who stood out to me. Let me know what you think down below about this crop. I'm impressed, man. I think there's definitely some interior offensive linemen the Seahawks need to bring in and draft this off season from this class. It's a great class. I'm excited about it. So, see you guys tonight on Twitch. Gonna make more videos tomorrow. We can do more combine wrap up. We're gonna take a look at some bench press stuff because we didn't get to see any of that in the earlier videos because it doesn't get done until the next day. So, thank you for watching. I'll see you guys later. Go Hawks. And it was a fun combine, wasn't it?